Hey there, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from my friend Ashley. So Ashley says, I've come here to you for years in various steps of my healing, always evolving and shedding layers. I've dropped several long-standing addictions and habits quite effortlessly, which is something I've been so curious about lately. The one that still lingers is binge eating, mostly on the weekends. As someone who is single, doesn't do a ton outside of a high stress job in the gym, I find that binge eating is my form of comfort and stress relief. I even plan for one a week as a treat for myself for how hard I've worked. But then when it spirals into the next day or even a few days, it's terrifying. It's no way to live, and I know it holds me back from so many things. I know on a head level that it's just a conditioned habit that's caused a dopamine hit, and our brains love that. Plus, with years of restriction under my belt, I'm sure physiologically my body prefers it to keep me alive and prepping for a possible famine. I guess letting the energy pass through on these urges is really just holding on and resistant. Again, I know on a head level the right things, but dismissing the urges and seeing them as neurological junk is still a struggle. Even as I'm writing this, I'm thinking to myself, just sit through the discomfort. And sometimes I do, but it doesn't feel natural. Usually it's more like, okay, just go to bed to not have to deal with the noise. She says, the noise just feels constant and loud. My prayer is that I'll hear something that just clicks. So that's why I keep asking questions, showing up and staying curious. Okay, Ashley. So a few things I just want you to look at. And I know you've looked at these things. I think you've looked at many of these things before. Pretend you know nothing about this, okay? Because sometimes it's hard, when we've kind of been through it over and over with something in particular, and you've learned a lot, you've heard a lot, you've seen a lot in this. It's everything you've learned and heard wants to kind of come back in, and it kind of it can kind of muddy things. So I want you, like best you can, to just pretend that you know nothing about this. You know nothing about this habit. You don't have a history with it. You know nothing about what I'm about to say. Just be as like completely open as you can be and just really curious. Like what is actually going on here? What is it actually doing for me? Why is it happening? Just see if you can kind of stay in that place. So I'm just going to point out a few things that I hear in what you shared. You say, I find that binge eating is my form of comfort and stress relief. And just really look. Now, don't look at this with your mind, though, because, even if you look with your mind, I think you're going to know it's really not comfortable. It may feel comfortable on some level. Does it really relieve stress? I don't know. But don't look with your mind. I want you to feel into this when it's happening. Can you really say that you're feeling comfortable? Can you really say that as this is going on, it's relieving stress? That's kind of what the mind keeps referring back to. It keeps going back to like, oh, it's comfortable. It relieves stress. It does this for me. It does that for me. But, don't take that at face value. Just really kind of look in the actual living of it and the actual felt experience of it. And see if that's the case. Because if it isn't, if this is something that happens, and then as it's happening, the mind says, oh, this is so comfortable, this is relieving my stress, well, that's very different than if it actually seems to do those things. And really the point here is I want you to feel your way through this. Don't worry about changing behavior right away. Do the behavior if that's what happens, but do it in a way where you're kind of noticing what the heck's happening. Because, and again, I know this from experience. It's like, it's happening and the mind is saying, oh, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted. But that's just the habitual, maybe you test this out. Maybe that's just the habitual thinking that comes along with it. I want you to just be really brand new to this. Brand new. Do whatever behavior it's going to happen. Whatever happens behaviorally. But really feel like, do I actually enjoy this? What is my mind saying about it? Does this feel in the behavior of it like it's relieving stress? Is it doing something else? Maybe it's having some other benefit your mind doesn't know to tell you about. maybe it's not having a benefit. So just be really, really dumb about this. Like, forget everything you know and see if you can kind of feel into it that way. So when you say you plan for a binge once a week to treat yourself for how hard you work, again, it's kind of along those lines. And I know you see something about this. I mean, that comment is like a perfect illustration of kind of what I'm pointing to here, where it's like, there's no benefit. That's not about an actual benefit in real time. That's a belief. That's a belief. It's the mind saying, this is really good for you. You enjoy doing it. You don't want to do it right now, but let's plan one for Saturday. And it's, you just really want to look at what's happening there. It's a belief. It's a thought that's just being believed, that this has some value, that it does something for you. The only way you're going to get to the bottom of that is to be really conscious as it's happening and feel and notice and see what thought is saying, and just see if you can kind of just dip into the actual experience at a much deeper level than the habitual behavior and then the same habitual explanation of it. You want to kind of sink down into it and really see what's going on there. So you say dismissing the urges and seeing them as neurological junk is still a struggle. There's just something small in here I want to point to. So these urges are habitual. They are kind of reflexes in a sense. It's obviously not reflecting anything you actually need or actually want. But sometimes like this whole, and I'm just going off your wording here, which is just words I know, but like dismissing them, seeing them as neurological junk. There's a flavor there of like, shouldn't be happening. I should see it this way. I know this is ridiculous. I know I don't need it. But you don't know. You don't know because it's continuing to happen, right? So, I would set that part aside. I wouldn't worry about dismissing it. I wouldn't worry about seeing it in a certain way. Kind of back to what I was saying. I mean, I would just go into this brand new and really find out what's happening, find out what's being felt, find out what thoughts are coming up and which ones, are easy to kind of see as just part of the landscape and which ones really seem like they carry some weight. Like, just want to be so curious about this because you know the answer. I mean, I know like there's nothing valuable in this behavior for you. But I don't know. If it feels like there is, you have to discover what that is and kind of look into it yourself. So don't worry about dismissing. I wouldn't even think about it as neurological junk if that feels a little resistant, because it kind of can. It's kind of implying like, oh, I know there's nothing in this. But if it still feels like there is, like that's just what you want to look at. And in terms of, you say, I'm thinking to myself, just sit through the discomfort. And sometimes I do, but it doesn't feel natural. There's a lot in this, Ashley, that I think, along the lines of what I've been doing with people a lot lately in terms of just sitting in the actual felt experience of things. It's a lot of what I've mentioned already here, but, is it even discomfort? What even is it? Do we really even know what this feeling is and what's going on there? So again, just continue, like when an urge comes up, I mean, you don't know anything. You're just discovering, you're exploring it, you're feeling your way through it. And just see what's there. And well, I'll send you some resources. We can talk more about what that might look like to sit with that. But last thing I want to mention is you say at the end, you want to hear something that just clicks. So that's why you keep asking these questions, which is great that you keep asking the questions. Just be careful about wanting to hear like the idea of, oh, I need Amy to give me some insight or some book or someone else to give me some insight, and it's just going to click and then everything's going to kind of, just all fall in line. What you're getting is it. You have everything you need. This is it, Ashley. You have everything you need. Every time this arises, every question you have, all of your curiosity, all of this present moment experience, all of that, You don't need anything else. This is what there is to dig into, to be curious about, to feel your way through, to really look at, like, just put it all out there. Like, what are the thoughts? What are the feelings? Let me just full immersion into all of this and explore it. Who is this happening to? What's the story around it? What are the beliefs around it? You have that all. So I just see this a lot. The mind wants to go out and like find some magic insight that's just going to bypass the whole thing. But what you need is right here. You have it. You have it. You have it in every urge. You have it right now. You have it in every question. So just see if you can kind of go in that way rather than wanting to wait for something else, that's going to click or have a certain feeling to it, because you can wait for that forever. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks for sending it. And let me know. Let me know. We can talk more about sitting with that discomfort and other things here. So thanks for sending it, Ashley. You guys can send questions to askamy@thelittleschoolbigchange.com, and I'll see you next time.